so stupid that they want ticker tape parades for doing simple shit. Like when you have a man say, I take care of my kids. Nigga, who else supposed to do it? You have a woman say, I feed my kids. Who else was supposed to do it? Stop talking like that about children, because children didn't ask to come here. As a matter of fact, and when I say this, it pisses people off, having children is one of the most selfish things you can do. Let me explain to you. You give it a name that it didn't have any say-so in what its name would be. You put it in a situation in which most kids wouldn't want to be born in the ghetto, in the hood, broke and whatever. I know a lot of kids wouldn't want to be born to a big old fat woman or ugly man or whatever it is. Like, there are things you wouldn't want to do, but you're giving that child that. And let me tell you what you're doing. When you have a child, you're bringing them into this thing called prison planet Earth. They're going to live here and they're going to die here. And those children didn't deserve to be born to those parents, because if you already know you're struggling and barely pay your bills, why would you bring a child into that? But we do it all the time. We know what it's like to not have a father. What would these women do? Go and sleep with a man that they know is not a good man, much less a father, and still produce children so she can get credit for being the strong woman, but not pay attention to the same thing she's putting that cycle into that child of no father, struggle, and growing up thinking it makes sense for her to struggle like my mama. I heard a black girl call my show the other day. She said, you shouldn't date women outside of your race because they don't know the struggle of blacks like I do. So a black woman can identify with a man's struggle. And I told her, the last thing I should want to be with is a person who identifies with my struggle and struggles like me. I'd rather have somebody. The great thing I like about dating white girls, when I date a white girl, that would say, well, let's go skiing. Let's go do something else. You can watch her Instagram and see it's completely different than a black girl. That white girl is in London. She's black girl always at the club, ass. And I'm like, why would I even want that? You're bringing me troubles if I even date you, because now I got to date you and 99 niggas is in my inbox talking about some, I hit her, I did this, I did that, because they don't show you any respect, because you don't show yourself any respect. And now I got to deal with the disrespect you just brought. Children have to deal with the disrespect we put on them. Your daddy ugly, you stupid like your daddy. Crazy things we're saying to our children. So when you're a 27-year-old and you're a single father, the only thing you should be trying to do is make sure your kid understands that you are there for them every step of the way, and you're going to make every sacrifice in the world to make sure that they don't have to do what you do. I'm Panamanian. We grew up to where the father he couldn't speak English, but he'd work 9 jobs to make sure you could go to a school. Damn. To where you don't have to struggle like he did. It was his job to lay down so you could cross the bridge.
And that's selfish, you say?
No. I'm saying in essence, logically, it's still selfish to have a kid, because if I'm having to work 9 jobs, guess what I'm not able to do? Be there for my kid. Right. Mm-hmm. My kid is seeing me come in and get a sandwich and walk out. I'm doing it because I have to. But why do it on purpose? Imagine, we all know people who are in wheelchairs or have one leg and walking with a whatever it is. I don't know if he was doing that yesterday. We all know that this is a thing. But we'd look at somebody crazy if they did this. Well, I'm gonna cut off my legs so I can live as a paraplegic. You think he was crazy if he cut off one of his legs just so he can see what it was like? Cut off his arms to see what it was like. When you have children and you can't afford to even take care of yourself, and you have them living in buildings where it's asbestos, you have them living in buildings where it's lead paint, you're not doing them a fucking favor. And we love to talk about the struggle as black people. What we're doing is that selfish too, because you're trying to glorify something that you know is negative and bad. It is not good to have children in a situation where you're hurting them and you're making it difficult for them. They're starting off behind the 8 ball, but we want to sit up there and glorify it. It's not something to glorify. Be responsible.
Fantastic point, because I will say this. Every child deserves good parents, but not every parent deserves children.
That's right.
That's what it is.
We in church today.
Yeah,
Number one, statistics show, even though it's fewer, men do a better job of raising children by themselves than women do. Number 2,
that's a fact.
Men are less violent towards children than women are. Women are more abusive to their children mentally, emotionally, and physically. Therefore, the last
What
part...
kind of women? And also, no.
Ones with vaginas.
What race of women? Because I feel like...
There you go with I feel.
Merch. I feel like...
We'll talk about stats, and I brought up stats.
Yep.
The person responded to my stats with, I feel.
Right.
There's a reason why you should make things easier on you. But it seems like black women love to try and make stuff the hardest they possibly can. I don't need no man. I can raise these kids by myself. Okay, so you want to put yourself behind the 8 ball. You don't want to make it easier for you and your
maybe
children.
Sometimes that argument it comes out of ego, because it's like, damn, nigga, like we done laid down and we'd agreed to bring forth this life and you done abandon.
Most of the time we don't agree. Most black babies are oops babies. They didn't sit down and have a discussion of, oh, we're going to have children. It was, guess what? I missed my period. That's what it is. Let's not lie. 76% of black children are born out of wedlock. Because if you want to believe that, ladies, listen to me. If you want to believe a man will take care of your kid, make sure you take care of you first. Because if I ain't taking care of you, chances are I ain't going to want to take care of what came from you.
Bam. I mean, and like I said, I don't know why it's so tough for the ladies to grasp. I mean, well, not all of them. You just want to argue. I get it.
No, it's not tough to grasp. I just feel like what's wrong with a well-rounded argument? Why does it always just seem so like? I just feel attacked.
Well, wouldn't a well-rounded argument though be one based on facts? If you can, because like if you think about it, a military strategist typically is somebody, because yes, they're not out there fighting, but a military strategist is somebody who did what? Fought. When you have a basketball coach, the majority of the basketball coaches on the sideline, guess what they used to do?
They played.
Yes, so they understand the strategy behind that thing. So if you're going to have some woman who's never been on the field come and try to strategize that of which she doesn't know, it's now all theory. And theory is another form of feelings.
Yeah. And this, again, is why men are better in the military. Like, we don't care about our feelings. Like, you're right now, you're in your feelings. I get it. It's fine. Like, but this is the difference between men and women. We can understand and accept uncomfortable and truths that piss us off, because men get rejected all the time. The world is a lot colder to men than it is to women. So that forces men to be logically sound. It does not necessarily force women to be logically sound.
Women think being submissive and following is a bad thing.
Not at all.
Well, some of them today think that these words are bad words. They think that these words are bad. But guess who submits more than anybody? Men. Men submit to their wife because they could whoop their ass if they wanted to get them to do whatever they want to. But they lower themselves and they say, I'm not going to handle this thing with what I'm better at, which is physicality. Because women will get into an argument with a man and they will go to their best feature, which is they can manipulate a man. In essence, when you say something to a man and y'all don't agree, a fight might break out.
Yeah.
And to solve that disagreement, it could be just simply who's the strongest. Well, women will lose in that battle. So women have become, from the beginning of time, they are more manipulators. That's why they will argue how they feel more than what is, because they're manipulating the man. They'll manipulate the man to the point of where they'll have like big doe eyes and look at him like, don't do something, and he'll feel sorry for you. Dude is not gonna feel sorry for me if I cower like this. He just gonna call me a punk and whoop my ass.
Yep.
And nobody's gonna say a word. If I go and slap Shaq is huge, and Shaq whooped my ass, everybody gonna say you shouldn't have been fucking with Shaq. Women literally will slap a man because they catch him cheating. And he can't do a thing but take that slap.
Right.
But how many times do a man get to see a woman out on a dinner with a dude talking about something? You bitch. Everybody in the place is going to
fuck him up.
But you just get right, because you can't compare your strength
so
to
what
a
we're
woman's
saying
strength.
is
that proves our point further.
Yeah.
That's
right,
the
okay,
point,
so
that the women have men behind them. Listen, one of the best places in the world to find out what the protection of men looks like versus when they take it away, Iraq. Iraq was more progressive than the United States back in 56. You can look it up. They were actually more progressive when it came to women's rights. Until the Shiites, I think, took over. And literally within seconds, it went back, they were wearing burqas. Because there was no protection from the men. Right now, if men didn't protect women, y'all could walk out in this street and get raped and no one could stop it. Who's going to stop it? Men keep other men in check. That's why it's sad that women talk so low to men, when literally women wouldn't have anything if men decided we're not going to give it to you.
Damn.
Men lower themselves to raise women up. Because if a man decided that he wanted to just continue to oppress you, what could you do to stop it? If men collectively said, we're going to continue to rape women, we're going to continue to keep women in the house and barefoot and pregnant, what could women do to stop it?
Nothing.
Thank you, dear.
That's
a fact.
So
It's
men
sad.
should be looked at a lot better than they are, because we're looked at as horrible people and we're literally protecting and building society.
And that brings it full circle, which is why women groupthink. You guys are not capable of defending your independent thought by yourself. And it's been that way for a long time. Are there outspoken women that do it? Yes, but it does not matter, because for every outspoken thing that she says, there's a man behind her willing to protect her for her thought process. Men don't get that benefit. If you say it, you better stand on it 10 toes down, because another man might challenge you physically and you have to fight for it. And men are okay with that, because men understand that the world is a cold, dangerous place where there's that potential of danger.